Hello and welcome to the CBV podcast. We have news of Disney's live-action remake, Mulan. If you didn't already know, this film was intended to be theatrically released worldwide back in March of this year. However, due to the pandemic, the film was delayed for the foreseeable future. But dry your eyes because we now have new details of its release. Starting on September 4th, 2020, Mulan will be released on Disney's own streaming service, Disney+. So that's great news for those of you who've been looking forward to this film. You now have a way of accessing this film from the comfort of your own home. The bad news, however, is that once you get a subscription for Disney+, you would then be expected to pay an additional $30 or £23 to be able to watch this newly released film on that streaming service. Now, for some people this is going to be good news, and for others this will be bad news. For instance, if you're a household of one or two people that already have Disney+, then an additional $30 or £23 is going to seem a little steep considering that you won't be getting the same experience you would at the cinema. However, if you're a large family of say 4 and above, this additional charge is going to seem pretty appealing as it will be cheaper than the cost of 4 and above tickets that you would usually pay for at the cinema. The question I'm going to be very curious of is, however, how many people are going to be willing to pay this extra chunk of cash to see this film? Because in my opinion, I feel like a company as large and successful as Disney could afford to have at least reduced the price to say $20 or £15. That seems more like what I was expecting Disney to charge. Because I understand that the film was never originally intended to be released on a streaming service. It was supposed to be theatrically released. So I understand that you do have to charge money. So in my mind, $20, £15, that just seemed like the more realistic and reasonable price I would expect Disney to charge. I only feel that the price of $30, £23 is expensive. It's just because if you're in a small household of 1 or 2 people, you got to rely on the fact that you hopefully would have a great TV, a good sound system, just something to boost up the experience of watching a film that was intended for the cinema at home. And if you don't have that, then that's already a downfall in itself, that you won't have that cinematic experience that you can have at home. It really just depends on what your home setup is to your experience of watching this film on the streaming service. And not to mention, that is not the purchasing price to keep for the foreseeable future. This is the price just to rent the movie, just to have access to this film for, I presume, 24 hours, however long Disney plans to let you rent the film for. I am disappointed that Disney's charging this much to rent the film, but at the end of the day, if people really want to see this film, then we'll see how much they're willing to pay for it. So those are all my thoughts on Mulan coming to Disney+. If you haven't already, please subscribe. You'll be able to keep up to date with all my movie news and all my new content. So for now, stay safe and take care.